Hey, 2D Foundations, it's Fen here. I know that some of you may not have a ruler to make your grid, so I found a really great way of using an envelope as your straight edge so that you get a nice straight line. But how are you supposed to get an inch? Well, a trusty little bill is going to help us do that. And it doesn't have to be a $20 bill, a $1 bill, or a $5 bill, or whatever you got. It's going to work out fine. Also, a lot of small paper clips are an inch long. So if you don't have a bill, because who carries money around anymore? If you don't have a bill, you can use a paper clip. But this simple way, really easy. You're going to take your bill and fold it into thirds. Be really careful about how you fold this so that it's nice and neat and actually into thirds. $8 bill, if you didn't know, is 6 inches long. Just about. It's a tiny bit longer than that. But if you fold it into thirds, it's just a tiny, tiny bit longer than 2 inches. So if you fold it in half, that's 1 inch wide. This is now your inch marker. Super easy. Let me show you how to use this to make your grid. You'll line your dollar bill against the spiral and mark your edge of your bill. Line it up with your mark and mark the edge of your bill so that you are getting 9 boxes across your paper. Now, your last space is going to be shorter. So you can see that I'm making sure that this lines up, and then my very last space is narrower, but it is there. So now I'm going to do this on the other side across the bottom. All right, let's make it a little bit closer so you can see how small my marks are. Now we're going to use the envelope, or really any straight edge, to connect these lines. So line your edge of your envelope up with the edge of your mark on both sides so that you can connect it. Now that line is way too dark. Too dark. Don't do that. You want your line to be super, super light. And you're going to have trouble actually seeing this on the camera. I'm just lightly taking my pencil and dragging it across. So see how light that is? You can hardly see it. That is what you want on your paper so it's easier to erase. Can you see it? It's right there. Oh, it's so hard to see. You want the same thing on your paper. Now, if you make your lines too dark like this, you can just take your eraser and lightly go over it to lighten that line. Now I'm just going to go through and make all of my lines all the way across. So now I have my vertical lines. I'm going to use my fake ruler to make all of my horizontal lines. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, lining it up in the corner and making all my marks. See a little bit closer how well it's lined up to the edge, and then I just make a teeny tiny mark and move on. Line it up, teeny tiny mark and move on. All the way across the top and then across the other side. Now that I have all of my 1-inch lines on the short sides, I am going to use my straight edge envelope and connect my lines so that, again, they are super light and you're going to very barely be able to see them on the video, but that is because they will be easier to erase later on. So make sure that your lines are even and straight and you'll be good to go. And just like I mentioned, when you are making your digital grid, it might be easier to label your boxes. Make sure A is a full box and not a half box. F should be in the spiral space. And when you label down the side, the half box should be number 9. You're going to go through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the very bottom box, that half box, is number 9. And that's it. That's your grid. All right, 2D Foundations, it's super light, but you should have your grid on your paper so that you are ready to go, whether you are using the blue Canson sketchbook or the red Bien Fang sketchbook. Both of them are perfect for this assignment, and you will get your grid, whether you're using a ruler or a non-ruler. And a fun little trick with a dollar bill. So make your grid and then get started on your drawing, which is the next step.